Hi guys! I think this is a time to talk about this part. Let's watch first these videos that comes in everyone's FYP or thought or because there are two situations that is roaming around. Is he really dead or is he dead? Sorry, I mean is yes, he's dead.
What authorities swore never existed. And there he was, Menglong, alive, breathing, terrified. The clip begins in grainy gray light, timestamp September 10th, 2025, 23:47. He's sitting at the edge of a hotel bed, fingers trembling over a silver pendant. The room is eerily silent until the door clicks. Two figures step in. One wears a cap low over his face. The other's voice, though faint, is unmistakable to those who know Chinese cinema like scripture. Fan Shirchi. The voice says softly, "We shouldn't have brought him here." Then a deeper accent answers, a Korean tone, strained yet calm, Gao Taeyu. Orders came from higher up. Just finished the recording. That sentence froze the internet. The frame-by-frame breakdown analysts across continents immediately tore through the footage frame by frame. At the 7th second, Yu tries to stand. Gao blocks him. At the 12th, Van pulls something, a syringe, out of a black case. At the 20th, Yu whispers, "Please, not again." The sound cuts there, but the camera keeps rolling. You see movement, a struggle, the crash of glass, Yu's pendant sliding across the carpet. Then suddenly static. The final image before the glitch. Yu on the floor, Gao kneeling, Van standing behind him, head bowed. It lasts less than a heartbeat, yet it burned into every viewer's global outrage ignites within an hour. Mirrors of the file popped up everywhere. Twitter, Telegram, Reddit, Bilibili before censors swarmed. The hashtag original YML video reached 1 billion views in 4 hours. BBC released an emergency segment titled, "Gao Taeyu implicated in Chinese actor's mysterious death." Fan Shirchi's agency issued a panic statement within minutes. The voice in that clip is AI generated. But voice forensic labs in Berlin, Seoul, and Taipei independently confirmed a 94% vocal match for both men. And the public believed what their hearts already knew. This wasn't deepfake fantasy. This was truth clawing out of a digital grave. The hotel that shouldn't exist investigators traced the metadata property in Macau, the Lotus Crown Hotel, shut down 2 years prior for renovation. Blueprints show Suite 509 had once been rigged with internal surveillance for security purposes. So, who kept the feed alive after the hotel closed? A whistleblower using the alias Orchid to post it. Construction site. Not a hotel. Artists who resisted contracts were brought there for therapy. Yu was the last. The post vanished and locals began posting old maintenance logs showing shipments, labeled equipment, private media division. The dates matched Yu Menglong's final travel itinerary.
So before these contents came in my FYP, speculation came to me, which is who between them is alive, because I'm already making a content about two, which is the other one is in my other channel, which is my own language, our national language, which is Tagalog, which my channel there is Joy Like Kalilala, and my other channel also in TikTok. Let's eat while talking. But for me, let's just be careful of the rumors that they are making, even the videos that they are making, because they made this China has its own cult organization, but those who are running against the shift of the world or the healing or the awakening that Illuminati cult or secret society. I think they may be a member, but they have their own, the country China. And at this point, they became one together to do a plan. So for this situation, the ones who can only answer is the mother, the cousin, because they said they are alive. or Yu Minglong alone, if he really is alive. And who died at that part? Who is the one who is shouting, and many people who is giving the videos, the neighbors, the whistleblowers from the museums, from the hospitals. Who are they? And that means that's a fake. If we use common sense, not right, even though they will give a nice, good evidences that will lead to, because changing your face actually to another person can be the surgical, plastic surgical. You can use another person and change the face, then act as him. Let's just don't believe. Let's just continue to fight because they are not only, I think they are not only fighting for what happened to Yu Minglong, but they are using the name because it is started from him, I mean. From him, the opening of what is happening at that country and also our own country all over the world. That harvesting organs without any consultation of the ownership of the body, human trafficking, that black magics, the wickedness of a person, and there's a relationship of, I can say, why they wanted to stop it as my coming. It always, why is always you? Why is always linked to you? Why is always? Because as I've said, like Jesus Christ, I have to experience being a human, then give a message to you like Jesus Christ did. Because no one, a human being, is capable in doing these kinds of, because at the end they will, at first it can, but at the last moment of the task, they betrayed themselves, they betrayed their task, they allow themselves to be paid by the materialistic world, the fame and power, just because of sometimes the validation to be known, because I've never been known before. I've never got that validation, which is the fame of knowing me, that I'm very important, that when I'm walking there, they salute me, that whenever they see me in the book which is written in the history, or in your FYP in the social medias, different kinds of platforms, social medias, they look at me as their idol. That's most of the preachers, pastors, priests, or any leaders in different kinds of religions, known people, is holding to that validation to every person. You are really hunger at that part, the power of that. If you really are having that satisfaction, you didn't care about that one. Me, my social medias has no a lot of viewers, but the power of manifestation in declaring to the universe and prayer to God. This is an evidence because there's a lot of messages that comes in my FYP. There are a group which is blaming few for their own crimes. Then another message which is they're trying really their best, even doing black magics and going around all over the world to find an spiritualist, voodoo, etc. that can do that, does that magics. Some just say yes to gain that money, but they didn't actually do, because when they throw their excess, etc. or their cards, what do we, what did they call that? Excess. I cannot pronounce it. When they read about you, you can read the purpose itself. That's why sometimes those practitioners is afraid. Yeah, we have to accept, even me, that it really is links with the purpose itself. You have to accept that from the very beginning, me as the first angel or the Lucifer at the end is still the right hand of God. As the Son, which is Lord Jesus Christ, I cannot uh, I cannot compare myself of Jesus Christ because I have my own personality and he has own his personality and we have different kinds of gender. We came in this earth with different kinds of gender to help with the task. He me came first and I came last. But at the end, it's a way to show to everyone that there's a part that a woman and men or a female or male gender has a big part with one another. And the importance of each. I know his importance, and men should know the importance of a being a female gender also. I know most of women knows the importance of a male gender, and they are begging actually. Whether they are not saying it to the face of their partners if they have a partner. That's why they always talk and complain that male gender is not listening. They always say it's a weak part of woman. You always doesn't shut up. You always talk. You don't stop doing like this. Women do that one because they wanted you to see who you are, which is you are only thinking of yourself. You are not thinking the relationship between you two that you made. And at the end, if you cannot pursue that woman or female gender or make that female gender submit to you and abide with you, you will shift to victimizing. There's no solution at that part. Victimizing yourself in saying, this woman is like this, that's why I'm becoming like this. And you are not looking at yourself, which is hard headed. You only wanted what you wanted to say or be followed. You don't consider the importance of your partner while you always complain and always see your sufferings. Sometimes we argue with materialistic world, right? And the most part, the from the very beginning until now, what we always know that a male should provide foods in the table in materialistic world. They should be the one who is stand to go and find a job for their family if they have a children, for their wife and children. And that's what you can only see. How about the effort of a woman, which is making you happy in bed? That's one part. Taking care of the children. Carrying your burdens also in spirituality. Because you are already one. When you already did the last, there's a connection at that part. So, we married if we are doing the last to everyone, we even without papers that we sign that we are married, we are marrying one another and we are marrying the burdens of everyone if we go around and sleep with anyone, whether you are man or woman. That's why we are like this, because you made the last again like nothing. So it's our fault. That's why we are experiencing different kinds of chaos in our life and even curses, because we welcome it. That's why we have to consider the 10 commandments of God. while we are fixing our relationship and building our faith and believe in him, then like also believing and having faith of the your prayers to him and protecting us 100%. So yeah, it's their part. If Yu Minglong really is alive, he can only answer with his mother and cousin. If not, they are shifting to blame Yu Minglong with another person which made a plastic surgeon. At the end, he will be always be blamed. And I saw a lot of content which is not only Yu Minglong is the victim at that part. There's a copycat. Like if you do an action movie, you really have a, especially if it's about boxing, running, or jumping. Those your body frame should be the same, or sometimes even face. I saw a Tagalog content creator which is saying Yu Minglong is really is alive, and he planned all of this. Look at that. If he really is not alive, they are shifting it to blame the person who already is and their own victim. It means that organization really is all over the world because he paid. Excuse me. So of course, these members won't do it if there's no, even though they are a member, they may be promise something. You know what? Why there's an issue about the Miss Universe this 2025. The director in the Miss Universe of Mexico. I think if it's about the organization, they are having a problem about the organization. They have to, they have both talk in a private or in a nice way, even though there's a lot of people there, because they have to hear it also as being the pageant members who is going to fight to gain that crown. Maybe the sometimes the problem is the language barrier, how we express it, because most of the time we use the international language which is English. And what I observed also in this case, why most of their what most of their ritual, I'm sorry, I, I laugh at that part because really we made an standard about beauty, but that standard make it itself a victim of that standard. Who made the first standard of beauty? Western Europe, right? The Latinas that we are always hearing. That's why these Asians is having a problem also. That's why there is always a video that comes in my it which is they are comparing the young monk which is died in car accident that they say, but actually not. That's not the real reason as they say. Not the they make it like an accident in a car than Jet Li, because Jet Li looks like more Chinese person, and that young monk looks like a half with a breed of the Westerns or Europe race. Yeah, we are having a big problem about that one. If we are having a pageant, the ones who's always being like they are having this those. If we are having a pageant, the ones who will always being implemented or being advertise our Latinas beauties. Even why we do plastic surgeons. Our nose should, our nose should be like this. Our hair be like blonde. Or our skin should be white. But you Asians, you didn't realize that you have a standard also. The body itself. That's why some of us, is it really that's the, we have an insecurity also in body frames. And Western in Europe doesn't care about body frames actually. Most of their women and men's, if you go in their country, they don't care really. The ones who what we are seeing in the TVs or the artists, they just wanted to make their body have a Coca-Cola shape. Because we, if we, some artists answer this question, which is why they chooses to have that kind of body. Because sometimes in TV, when you look at them, they're good. And of course, the magnet of the body frame. Most of us wanted to see a good body, sexy body, especially men. Yeah, Asian, those Chinese, Koreans, Japanese, Thailand, you also discriminate. We once went to a tour, that's it, in Thailand. One of the driver in taxi and became our tourist guide says, you have to have a good body frame because it looks good. Why? That doesn't matter. No, being slim and go, having a good frame body is good to look. He said. He said. The pronunciation. He said. No, we don't. In us, in our place, which is, or in our tribe, body frame it doesn't care because we love to eat. And that driver went silent. Maybe there's a realization at that part. Yeah, we don't care actually in body frame. There's a part that we choose to drink slimming pills or exercising to have a good body or doing a diet. It's on your own choices and satisfaction itself. Well, we more care in materialistic world. That's the big problem also. That's why sometimes our health is being affected. Like it's like the saying which is, or the other belief which is God provide, uh, setting aside, because we always think always of materialistic world, and we want sometimes build ourselves spirituality, like what you're experiencing all over the world, we are experiencing all over the world, the materialistic world, because we are already lost. That's why some artists also, that even though are some companies or agencies are abusing them just to have that fame and gain names for themselves, so that maybe that's so that they can gain that money. That's why these situations comes also. Our wishes that became crime. I know artists all over the world is experiencing these kinds of situation. They may being blackmailed or promised a fame in richness. But sometimes there's a way that the world, the universe, or God make them realize that that's not important. That's why they resist. We have to consider something before we discriminate and persecute someone. Like the expressing of self, if you are not always using the language, maybe sometimes, yeah, the language barrier, or the respect itself, we have to learn how to accommodate one another, because we don't know the levels of everyone's mental in brain in heart, brain in heart. because the other person that I'm making a content and having a connection, spirituality through its soul is Eman Atienza. And one of her problem when she is living is the bipolar. And you are very sensitive in feelings that it may lead to breakdown. So we have to really know how to accommodate one another. And as much as possible, still maintain respect. Remove the differences of every race because we have that one, the superiority of every race. We have to think that every race is equal so that you will not bring down the other race if someone came in your face that the race is more. Maybe we are only seeing the advancement of the materialistic world or the country, the development. That's why we set aside this person. And we didn't know that we hurt this person. And the status of a person, whether that's poor or rich, the most important really is who you are as your being, your personality, characteristic, manners, attitude. Poor or rich should learn that one or any kind of race. Big problem also in discrimination. That's why we can persecute anyone that we wanted, especially if you are revolving in selfish ego and pride. You, if you are a rich person, you add your selfish ego and pride, then you always consider the levels only in this materialistic world, which is what's their status. That person is came from poor. That person came from rich. And what we are going to accommodate is the person who have an status of rich person, right? Most of the time, that's the thing that is happening in this world. And we add these kinds of rituals. I think this is their cultural that they are doing all over the world. They are not on. They are just didn't add it to their movies or series that they are making. I think we have to in doing movies we have to do those kinds of. They just subdivided it. That's why this is from the story of the history, and this is from the horror movie. I think sometimes they have to combine it because that's a part of history also, and others are still doing it. We have if we have a really big problem of the standards that our ancestors made, the beauty standards and the being handsome or being beautiful as a female gender, because that's what the other part that I'm seeing about this one. That's why most of their victims, it's like, why is it always like handsome and there's like a half breed of this, or sometimes their victim, even though it looks like them, but they made the maybe they triggered the ego and pride. That's why they came against what they do, and they don't like that one, right? If you trigger the things that they do, especially if it's bad, and correcting it, that's why we can persecute and discriminate someone and say bad words and think bad word to a person because this person is saying the truth in triggering something, the ego and pride. If you don't believe in ego and pride, try it because there's always a connection about the ego and pride. That's why when you trigger something, they reacted like the tantrum, the shift in victimizing. They will try their best to make you as the villain. Um, they're trying their best also to make a smear campaign against you because they don't like what you say. What else? Even in actions, They're planning against someone to end the life of this person because the truth is coming out. And that's not already going to happen. One of the plans in this new world order, any plots against the truth will not perspire. Many times already is being proven. We already see that in many situations. Even though many people is being ended, like the situation in Africa. Africa is starting to welcome Christianity. China is starting to welcome Christianity in other country, even in Middle East. I think one or two country. I forgot. And I think even Western in Europe knows about God or Christianity. So it's like they are reversing themselves. They are being against, especially the government and those people that beyond government, especially those who are holding the transactions of the cash, the paper bills, because they are the ones who had started this materialistic world. The plans here in materialistic world. That's why I've seen a content which is actually I think I made a question on TikTok Taco and asked a question which is about the relationship of America and Europe. But I don't know why that content came, which is this group of personals is having a war with the with these people or country that is against, because they know that money, we are already enlightening, awakening, and money is being set aside, and they are having a plan of changing it, which is the Russian and China's plan to do like the crypto or online transaction payment. But for me, both can be accepted, but they have to start to educate people about scams, gaining that money through bad ways, and the hacking on online. We can both accept both, but we have to do something beyond more so that the prosperity will be permanent, not always temporary. At the very beginning, they're having a problem about this crisis, money, how they will fix or organize payment. That's why they made a money paper for proper transaction, organized, and solving the problem also. But at the end, it didn't solve because they forgot the most important, which is always remind the people that in gaining that money, or maybe they are the one of the number one who is doing the scam itself also, and doing the cult organization or Illuminati. That would solve the problem. I once given a person who is talking about a ritual that they have to renew it. That's why they are doing a mass grave persecution to every country that they are doing to renew, because the maybe they experience the result in materialistic world, which is good, but at the end it's unlucky, right? Because whether you do it again and again and again and again, you will fall down again and again and again. until you will learn. But I think they are not learning. They are always revolving in selfish ego and pride. That's why they are not listening. Because they know that we have still at the end we have our own well-being choices to choose. Yes, we have that one. But if God already say that you have to change, you have to. He is already actually seeing it in this moment, this last stage of life. One choice is only is to change. Or if there's a second choice, if you don't want to change, goodbye. Because I'm seeing a lot of content also for those who is having a content about the spiritualist, that this life is the last stage, but it's like there's a division that is being made, which is to subdivide who is running with the truth and who is not running with the truth, and that personals that is running with the truth will be the ones will be saved, right, automatically. And those who personals that running not in the truth is, I guess, the ones who will be cast away in a suffering, burning hell. And why other people's life ended, it's a part. But don't forget that pray for them for their incarnation, because that is real, the reincarnation. We have to help one another, because whether you do that kind of rituals to stop what to be stopped, because you are using a chosen one against a chosen one, it doesn't work. It will really a sacrifice to the chosen one, but a good sacrifice actually. Phone is always getting off, and every sacrifice that we do on this kind of rituals or wickedness is a way of the truth to come out, and we are seeing it. The strategy of the wicked people, the personality of the narcissist, because whether very different kinds of people, male or gender, but same personality, characteristic, manners, and attitudes. And an evidence also that they have to develop something on their personality, characteristic, manners, and attitude. That's why they became narcissist, like orchid energy. You know what? Don't doubt yourself. If someone said you're like a kid when you did something and your reaction is happy, that's called satisfaction. If they don't understand that one. I always hear that one actually. You're like a kid. But when I learned that being happy with even simple thing of result, especially if it's good, even though you're even in healing yourself from your pinching traumas and cutting the curse, generational curse, and building yourself personality, characteristic, manners, and attitudes. Every simple that you observe has a good result. There's a satisfaction. Giving, that part is giving gratitude also. They don't understand that part because maybe sometimes they don't want to believe that they are really not mature, they are immature. They don't believe that you are applying, but they themselves, if they applied, they forgot that they have selfish ego and pride. That's why they cannot, if they applied it, they cannot move forward. They made themselves stagnant. It's better always to humbleize yourself, bring down your selfish ego and pride, then apply it, then you can gain the result. You may experience hurt and hatred in the situation because sometimes it will hurt us. That's what we call power moment, or sometimes we call it depressed, anxiety, or stress. Yes, but as long as you accept that part, you do an reflection and accountability, you release the negative pressure, but welcome it in the key to make it as a positive. Always start from yourself, not from others. Because how can you change that other person if from yourself you're not doing even? They can actually observe the differences before. That's why they are making those kinds of narratives. There's a time that they cannot do it, but there's a time that they can do it. It's like you are the ones who did it first. Just wait for them. Others will only learn when their life is already on the stage of, you know what I mean? And that's too late. Yes. In their bedridden old age and last breath. Why is it some people may only realize those kinds of their sins at that kind of stage of life? Thank you for these people that watching this one and realizing also while they are watching. It's still better to start now, even though it's hard, than it's too late. Good luck to us and God bless. As for this case of Menglong, we have to use our God's discernment and intuition. Because it says in 2026, this Menglong that they are saying, that he made the plan, will come out. And for me, I'm still continuing to post something, especially in my TikTok account. And lastly, this really is I think I have to say something about this one. There's really something in my energy that everything that I get attention is getting viral. And in my intention in this part is, if that tarot reader is real, which is saying they are trying their best to shift the blame on you, the ones who made the crime. What I did only is help, because I know in my energy that I have the magnet to make something fame, or even a person or movie. If I gain attention to the person became fame. If I gain attention to this movie, it became fame actually, really. Or with this kind of thing like this product, or etc. Yeah, my part is helping. Because whether you dig the content or words that I say, it's all about truth and helping the situation. Why would you blame me from your sacrifice? And yet that sacrifice or rituals actually is even against the New World Order. And the New World Order is about truth. And that kind of ritual or Illuminati cult or acts of wickedness is the illusions and delusions that the people wanted to save. You wanted to? You wanted me to be framed of what you've done? Well, as I said from the very beginning, you have to accept accountability in yourself. To release yourself from that part, at that wickedness that you did. As we all know, that truth is truth. It doesn't accept lie, which is one part is wickedness of people, lies, scam, discriminate, persecution, etc. I'm not bragging, but that's the truth itself. And no is no. And one reader says, it's like they are feeling you are coming to them. That feeling is correct because the truth will always come to persecute them as they are persecuting their fellow brothers and sisters to their bad crimes. At the end, who wins? The truth will prevail. The veil will lift. So, I have no fault at that part. I just help because I know the situation will help the situation of the problems that is revolving all over the world, especially the Illuminati cult or the secret society cult groups. Because I think that group is one. They may have their own cult in every country, but they are bind with that secret society. And some of the video that is revolving, there's even white people there, Western or Europe. And that's an evidence of in an Illuminati group members all over the world.
大家一致认为是宝格丽酒店，其实在这个酒店里面是发生了很多事。于朦胧呢，在阳光向东被扔下楼之前，其实还有一个事发现场。那么现在呢，新出来的这个视频啊，是一群人在聚会，这一群人还不是这17个凶手或者22个凶手，而是有日本人，还有白人，可以说都是名流的聚会，人家交流都是用的英语，而这群人交流的内容都是关于于朦胧，听起来非常恐怖。比如说有一个人就说是 Chinese TV star， 就中国电视明星，还有一个人说 This is sweet man， 他是一个很甜的人，对不对？都是来讨论于朦胧，好像于朦胧是一道主菜，这些人都在围着于朦胧在讨论，就是 Japanese spin， 那么这就是说的是日本技术，这些词到底是什么意思？在讨论于朦胧干什么？现在发现里面有一个叫北川孝行的人，就是日本的一个医师。中间还有一个词说到，为什么医师会在现场？为什么于朦胧被囚禁在这里的时候需要医师？大家有没有想过中间的逻辑？而且中间还有一个人也出现了，就是演世杰。于朦胧在宝格丽酒店之前，很可能被囚禁在一个变态的展览馆里面，就是红砖展览馆。而那个展览馆里面，以前乔任梁就在里面被虐杀，而演世杰就是那个红砖展览馆的馆长。大家想想，这中间到底有什么联系啊？那么虐杀于朦胧的，是不是除了那22个人，还有这些日本人也参与了？那么这样一来啊，这一群名流可能都是新犯，整个宝格丽酒店把于朦胧当做一道主菜，这些人都说好吃，到底是吃的是什么？
Save yourself from your false narrative. Good luck.